The Sunshine Man. A bright white light fell on his face. He closed his eyes with his small hands. He could smell him. Slowly the light diffused and he opened his eye blinking. He could see his beard brimming over with a smile. Flowing white beard, flowing white robe, and an abundance of happiness. He is old, but his muscles are strong. He picked him up on his lap and laughed loudly. The old man then said, "Once upon a time." And then again, the glowing light appeared, but now he could see everything in that expanding effulgence. He could see the flying fairies, galloping knights, the magicians, the sorcerers, the robots, the machines and scientists, the birds, the flowers, and everything that he could imagine. Suddenly, from nowhere, the big, large hand of the big, friendly giant appeared and held his hand and shook him hard. And he woke up with a start as his father shook him and said in excitement, "Moynik, Moynik, there's a letter for you from the School Service Commission. Have a look at it." Moynik sat up straight in his bed and tried to rub the remnant of his dream of his mind and look into the official letter. He tore off the envelope to find his appointment letter and shouted, "I've got it, Dad!" Moynik had passed the SSC examination and the interview thereafter to get his coveted job of a school teacher. But soon his face turned gloomy as he found that he has been posted to a village named Parghumti in Hingalganj district in the Sundarbans. He has a mixed feeling. He is happy and excited by this lucrative beginning of his career, as this job is a government job with a handsome salary, loads of other facilities. However, he is sad because his posting is in the Sundarbans, the marshy delta lands of Bay of Bengal, where wild animals prowl and people are less interested in education. He was quasi-depressed, hoping for a transfer after a few years. He packs up his clothes and books and then leaves for the village, Parghumti. He reaches the school after a bumpy ride on a bus, then a boat ride, and finally a long walk with his heavy luggage. He meets the headmaster, Mr. Raghuvir Thor, a funny man. "Welcome! Welcome, Mr. Moynik Moitro! Welcome to Parghumti Primary School." He sees the school, a dilapidated building. The classrooms were equally dirty and broken benches and tables. He retires to his room, a simple government quarter. In the morning, he finds out his students. There are a handful of the village boys and girls, shabbily dressed, unkempt hair, and dirty all over. A few had their books, which had pages torn and crumpled. They knew nothing at all. They were yelling and moving around the classroom restlessly. He attempted to stop them, but failed. He started to teach, but found that they understood nothing. Nobody heard his lessons. Nobody cared. The other teachers were by then out of their classrooms in the open, smoking beedies and basking under the morning sun. Their students were creating a ruckus in their classrooms. He was frustrated. He spoke to the headmaster. He just smiled. In the afternoon, there was a difference. Suddenly, there was a big crowd of young children who joined the others for the midday meal, for the food that was being served by the school. a government initiative. That was the most exciting part of the school, when even the adult members of the village came to check up on the quality and the amount. They passed remarks and commented on everything. The headmaster went to them and spoke to them while sharing beeries, He was very friendly to them. Then the students left for their homes, and soon the village felt silent and dark. Moynik went back to his room and felt like crying. All his dreams to become a super teacher, a great mentor, fell flat in the dust. He felt like running back to his home when suddenly the headmaster appeared. Mr. Moynik, you have to learn to cope with this situation. This is a village school. It is not your city convent. They come here to have food and fun, not to study. Their parents also do not want them to study. Because more they study, more they become lazy. The few that had passed school don't go to the fields and consider plowing lands to be a lowly work. So enjoy, have fun, and earn your money. No one will bother you. And there's no other way out, Mr. Moynik. No other way. Moynik was shocked to hear him. Then onwards, Moynik started to think of ways to take a transfer to another city school. He started applying to the education department. Every day was as uneventful as it could be for Moynik, apart from a young girl of 7 years of his class who kept staring at him from day one. She says nothing, has no friend, and is the quietest girl in the whole school. Moynik came to know from others that her name is Bunchi, and her father is dead, and her mother is a poor woman, and they live in a shanty far off near the corner of the village. They belong to the lower caste. They are domes, the scavengers, the Shudras. Almost all the students were irregular, but Bunchi would come every day. Moynik was sure she comes regularly for the food that is given to the students during their lunch break. However, Moynik was troubled and deeply disturbed by her incessant staring. He tries to avoid her look, but failed. He tries to talk to her, but she doesn't. Her mother Sheila once visited the school. A young widowed lady with incomparable dreams in her eyes. I am Sheila, Bunchi's mother. Namaskar. Sir, I want her to grow into a smart lady. I want her to talk in English. I will try. She is a good girl. She will learn whatever you teach. I work day and night just for her. I fight the men of the villages. They don't want Bunchi to study. They think we are filth because we deal with filth. I'll break their heads and shit in their houses if they don't allow Bunchi to study. Sir, please teach Bunchi. I beg of you. You can make her a strong woman. Make her a Mem Sahib. I said, I will try. They are Dalits, the downtrodden in the society, in the village. She wants her to grow into an educated woman and live a better life in the city. There were rumors that this lady slept with other men of the village to earn her bread. But Moynik found the woman courageous and intelligent. After meeting the lady, he could feel a change in his attitude towards the school, and Bunchi in special. He couldn't sleep well in the night, as if something kept haunting him. Is it that woman's sharp young face, her firm, curvy body, or the girl and her staring? Or the funny, laughable face of the headmaster? He was not sure. Late at night, he could manage some sleep, and he saw a dream. A man in white robes with long flowing beard who woke him up and took him to a place far off from this village into the deep forest. In the forest, there was an open land with lush green fields, and there were children running around and playing. The children saw the old man and stopped playing and rushed to him. The old man gave them chocolates, and all of them sat around him. He told Moynik to sit, and he started to tell them stories. And he kept on telling stories. Stories from epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata, from classic literature, and stories of scientific inventions and scientists, and more and more and more. And suddenly, Moynik saw Bunchi coming from the other corner of the forest, and everybody looked at her, and she went and sat on the old man's lap. But Bunchi kept staring at Moynik. Suddenly, a ball of fire came out of her eyes and started to burn Moynik. His clothes were on fire. He started shouting. And soon he woke up and found himself on his bed, panting and sweating. It was early morning. He felt disturbed. He sat for a while on his bed and pondered over it. This old man was the same person whom he had seen in his dream back home. Who is he? Why is he coming back again and again in his dreams? He found it to be a hint for a change. Later in the morning, he was a different man in the school, happy and focused, as if he knew what he is going to do. No more depression, no more doubts. He called all his students, told them to sit, and started his class with a story. Once upon a time, the boys and girls suddenly fell silent and sat quietly. They were listening. They were attentive. The other class students also smelt a story as if and peeped in his class. He told them to come and sit around the others while he told stories. When he finished, the boys were all silent and still, as if in a trance. There was a hint of a smile on Bunchi's face. Moynik was happy. Soon the children wanted more stories. He promised them more. Then onwards, every day, he started to tell stories of all kinds, from literature to science. He also told the story of numbers. The children were learning. The other teachers were not happy with this. They complained against Moynik. They told everyone that he tells stories and doesn't teach in the class. The headmaster liked what Moynik did, but failed to support him due to the pressure of the village head and the secretary of the school, Mr. Shushant Mukherjee, who teamed up with the other teachers and started creating problems for Moynik. The village people were upset because Moynik had befriended Bunchi, and she was gradually becoming close to him. Even her mother, Sheila, frequented the school, and the people started spreading rumors of an illicit relationship between the two. Complaints were filed in the government offices. One day, Mr. Shushanto came to Moynik and said, "Look, master, either you behave yourself or leave the village. We have complaints against you." May I know what complaints? "You don't teach, but pass your time telling stories." Stories teach more than books with information, sir. Don't give me your shitty theories, master. And why is that Domini's daughter there in your class? She's a student. Her name is Bunchi. She's a good learner. We know who is a good learner. She or her mother, that whore. Look, sir, I don't want to discuss all this with you. I want to prepare for tomorrow's lessons. You will suffer, master. You will pay for this. I'm telling you, you will pay for this. Initially, Mainak was afraid, but he gradually got courageous, maybe because of the dreams that he saw almost every night. The old man would come and tell stories of great fighters, people who fought for independence, who fought for education, who fought for culture. The stories gave him strength. He kept telling stories to his students. They too changed a lot and started to attend classes. The other teachers found it ridiculous and wrong and humiliating. They wanted to throw him out of the village, and Mr. Mukherjee, the school secretary, supported them. There were days when they had planned to beat up Moynik, but his students and Bunchi's mother came to know about it and saved him. But his life was at risk. Still, he did not fear. He wrote letters to the office again, but now for the solution to this new problem created by the teachers and the school secretary. He started a soft revolution in the village. Education became fun for the children. Mothers were happy to see their children learn. After a long pursuit, the education officer too came and warned the headmaster and the other teachers. Some of the village women, along with Bunchi's mother, supported Moynik and his efforts. They could see the children change. But one day, his transfer letter comes in response to his earlier application. He was sad. He didn't want to go now. But he had asked for it, so he has to go. The village head and the other teachers were very happy to know this. The children were extremely sad, and so were their mothers. He prepared to leave the village. He packed his things. All the children and their mothers were there in front of his small government quarter to bid him bye. They were crying. Bunchi came running and embraced his legs. The poor girl was shivering. Suddenly, the headmaster, Mr. Dor, comes running and says that he has personally requested the education office to withdraw Moynik's transfer. Aha! There was joy in every heart present there. It was celebration time. All the children rushed to hug the headmaster. Bunchi looks up at Moynik's face and she smiles. Moynik picks her up on his lap and says, "Once upon a time." He remembers his dreams, the old man, and once upon a time. He muses. Did the old man look like Rabindranath Tagore? He was not sure.